Good evening, our viewers, from wherever you're watching us. Welcome to our very first show of Health Booth, exclusively on Heaven Bound Television. On our very first show, we're going to discuss a very important topic on preparing for pregnancy, or in other words, preconception. My name is John Kimura. For all of us who are married, or they are preparing to get married, or they have dreams to get married in the future, this program is a very important program for them. And with the help of our guests that are on the panel tonight, I believe that we will go a long way to ensure that we get to tackle as much as possible of your health matters in terms of preconception. And just stay tuned with us, and I believe it will all be helped. As I turn to my guest tonight, we have our doctor. I'd just like our doctor to greet us and as we go ahead this program.
Good evening, viewers. My name is Levi Mkolo. I wish to welcome you also on the Health Booth show on Heaven Bound Television.
Thank you so much, Dr. On my right, far right, we have our first parent guest, and I would like him also to introduce himself to our viewers.
Good evening, viewers. My name is Paul Kimemia, and I love and appreciate to be in this show.
Welcome. Our second guest, who is also a parent guest, it's your time to introduce yourself and also greet our viewers.
Good evening, viewers. My name is Margaret, and I'm so happy to be on this panel tonight. And I believe that we shall discuss and get all helped and learn together. Karibuni sana.
Asante sana. To start off our program, I'd like our doctor to explain, to give us a brief description of what do we really mean when you talk about preconception. Karibu, Doctor.
John, when we talk about preconception, we are referring to the period preceding one conceiving. We are referring to that short period just before one conceives. It could be that one is conceiving for the first time, or it is a subsequent pregnancy that is being conceived following a delivery that occurred some time back. So preconception refers to the period just before one conceives. And this show, I believe, is talking about the preparedness that one needs to undertake during this period as they prepare to conceive.
Okay. If I may ask, I had mentioned earlier for our viewers, I'd mentioned about those who are married. I don't know whether there are other groups of people that we should be handling or talking to when we are speaking about preconception.
In a mature and sober society, we should be talking about those who are married.
Okay.
Whether they have just gotten married and therefore they're expecting their first pregnancy,
Okay.
or they have been in marriage for quite a while, they have had previous deliveries, and now they are expecting another delivery. That is the group we are talking about. However, human beings being human beings, and society being society, we have those that also conceive before they get married. And equally, they need to get prepared if they are planning for that pregnancy. Although in most cases, it happens that those who are not married just get pregnant without thinking on or planning to get pregnant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Asante sana. So turning to our first parent guest, Mr. Kimemi, I'd like you to explain to us and together with our viewers about, have you had any previous pregnancies in your marriage, and what were your experiences in these pregnancies together with your spouse?
Thank you, John. In a matter of fact, I'm married, have a wife. We have been blessed with 2 kids, 2 boys. And so we have gone through a number of pregnancies, 2 of them. And there are challenges, ups and downs. And so we went a lot in terms of the first and the second pregnancy.
Okay. What about our mom? Have you had any previous pregnancies in your marriage? And what I believe when you're talking about a mom, the experiences might be a little bit different or slightly different when I'm talking to a man. So I would like you to give us just a description of your experiences and and the previous pregnancy that you've had?
Thank you very much, John. And yes, I've had pregnancy experiences in the past. And I have 4 children, 2 beautiful girls and 2 very handsome young men. And all I can say is pregnancy is a very beautiful experience, but it becomes very beautiful once you hold the bundles of joy, once the baby comes. But during the pregnancy period, there are normally so much challenges, very many problems here and there, matter appetite, cravings, you losing your body shape, and all those kind of things. But once you get the baby in your hands, everything seems to fade away. Essentially, I don't know how that happens, because even if you walk into a labor room, you experience the labor for the countless number of hours, some labor even for long, 23, 24 hours. But when you hold your baby in your arms, this becomes like a past that you don't even want to remember about. And it becomes now that the only thing that you can now consider and the only thing that you can now hold on to is the fact that now you're blessed with that baby. So for me, I have had 4 very different pregnancies. And all of them, I have had like different experiences. Yeah, with morning sicknesses, sometimes getting very weak. Other times you're so joyous and you're feeling strong and you can do everything. And all of them are my babies. So, yes, it's normally very different for each and every baby.
Okay,
yes.
That's good. Before maybe we go back to Akimemia, is that all? Are you planning to have more kids? The number
I would want to be...
ticking?
I would want to be very honest. Yeah. By God's grace, I would wish to stop at that. Yes, with the 4 children, I think I'm good now.
You're good.
Yes.
You're good.
Yes.
Our father Kimeni, what about you?
We are prepared for the 3rd born.
Okay.
So me and my wife, we are really set.
All right.
Despite the 1st and the 2nd deliveries, where there were a lot of challenges, in the coming child, in preparation for the 3rd born, we are all set. We are prepared. Whereas, as a man, I must support my wife. Financially, health-wise, I must help her. In the chosen house, in any areas that she requires me to help her. During the preparation in the pregnancy, I'm set. And as a man, I must be ready for anything that will come along with the pregnancy. Thank you.
Wow. So our brother Akimime tells us it's 2 and counting. And it's good he has mentioned some couple of issues that I believe that we're going to tackle towards even the end of this show. So viewers, we've come to the end of our first part, from the introduction part and the experiences from our 2 parent guests. In the second part, we're going to tackle a very important issue for those that are also preparing for pregnancy. And don't change your channel. Stick to Health Booth on Heavenbound Television. Welcome back, our viewers, to our second part of our show, Health Booth. And before we go ahead to discuss the second part of this show, I'd like our Daktari to respond to some of the issues that are raised by our guest parents.
Thank you, John, for this moment, for us to perhaps ask Kimemia or prepare Kimemia as much as he says that he's ready for the next pregnancy. This is now the moment for us to really know how prepared one is supposed to be before conception. First of all, I'm not addressing Kimemia, I'm addressing all of us, especially those who are viewing. that you need to plan this pregnancy. By planning this pregnancy, planning for conception, I mean that if you are taking, for example, family planning pills, or you are on a contraception method, you need now to stop using that contraception for you to get pregnant. Secondly, you need to know the kind of diet that you need to take. This does not mean any special diet for one to get pregnant, but it means eating healthy. You need to eat a balanced diet, but together with that, with the 3 classes of foods, you need to remember the nutritional, the other supplements that are required, mineral supplements, especially folic acid, which can be bought from the chemists, or it can be gotten from cereals that one needs to eat, because there is about 400 micrograms of daily requirement for folic acid as one prepares for pregnancy, because it will be important during pregnancy for one to have enough supply of folic acid.
Okay.
Another point that you need to be aware of is prevention of sexually transmitted diseases. Some of the sexually transmitted diseases which may be there before you conceive will affect the pregnancy. So if one has such like diseases, they need to be taken care of before they can conceive.
Okay.
Another thing that one needs to look at is, for example, if one is a smoker or an alcoholic or takes alcohol.
Okay.
These are things that need to be worked on. You stop these habits before pregnancy if you are expecting to have a healthy pregnancy. Another thing is perhaps where you're working with chemicals. Maybe you're working in an industry, and some of these chemicals become toxic to the pregnancy. So you need maybe to take some time off your workplace or be deployed in a department that you deal less with the chemicals, because you need to avoid these chemicals since they may affect the pregnancy.
Okay.
Another thing is about your state of mind.
Okay.
The state of mind is also important. One needs to be at peace with themselves and with the husband or with the spouse. So you need to avoid violence in the family, so that you are calm. You are in good state of mind as you prepare to get pregnant.
Okay.
I think maybe we tend to forget, and I need to highlight this, that some of the family histories, especially health family histories, need to be actually thought of, because some of these end results of the pregnancies, children are born with some of the diseases that are run in families. So if you never knew that perhaps a particular condition is running in a family, then you get a child who has that condition, you may not be sure, you may not be prepared to handle such like a condition when it comes up. Again, if you are not so sure about your state of health, it is good that you go for a health checkup and talk to your doctor or physician and tell them that I'm preparing to get pregnant. So is there anything special that I need to put in consideration before I conceive? So those are some of the issues that one needs to look at before they get pregnant. It's not just about the man or the wife saying that now our last born is now this age and we need to get another one, or pressuring each other for another baby or another pregnancy.
All right.
Thank you.
If I may go back to the first point that you raised about taking folic acid before a pregnancy, while you're preparing for pregnancy, are there implications that may occur if somebody doesn't take the folic acid?
Yes, there are some implications that will occur. Folic acid is specifically important for the formation of the brain and the nervous system of the baby. So if you have enough supply during pregnancy, you are sure that your baby will be born without defects affecting their nervous system. Especially the brain will be formed properly and maturely. And also the rest of the nervous system, including the spinal cord, it's also important during its formation that folic acid be there in enough supply. So as you prepare to get pregnant, take this folic acid, and again during the pregnancy, you shall be encouraged to continue taking folic acid, especially in the first months of pregnancy, during the formation of this organ, the brain and the spinal cord.
Very, very important. At this particular time, or there's an issue that is emerging on teenage pregnancy. It's actually a a national concern while we're talking about Kenya. And that's why in this second part, I would like us to delve on the issue of age with the help of our doctor, so that we understand, is there a particular age where one is ready, maybe mentally, maybe body-wise, for them to handle pregnancy? Because so many little girls, as young as 9 and 10 years, they are getting pregnant, and it's an issue that concerns all of us. I would like doctor to explain to us, when we talk about age, is there a specific age for one to maybe get pregnant?
Yes, there is not a particular age as in number,
Okay.
but there is that period where one can be seen as mature enough
Okay.
to get pregnant.
Okay.
And just as you have already said that teenage pregnancy is an issue, there are so many health impacts on a teenager who gets pregnant.
Okay.
And maybe in another program we shall be talking about the same. But let me say that in the first place, I wouldn't imagine a teen who is married. I began by saying that we are talking about a society that is sober.
Okay.
So we are talking about a teenager who is getting pregnant. I want to believe this teenager is not even married in the first place. Secondly, if they are now getting pregnant, is their body really prepared to carry the pregnancy and the stresses that come with pregnancy? They are not prepared.
Okay.
You need to remember that there is this period that we call menarche. Menarche is the first time that a girl, a baby girl or a girl child receives her first periods.
Okay.
This is an indicator that if this child has unprotected sex,
Yes.
it is possible for them to get their ova fertilized, and
Okay.
therefore they will conceive.
Okay.
So this menarche sets in early in some children and later in others.
Okay.
So it can come as early as 9 years. So we can't say that a 9-year-old, by the fact that they can get their ova fertilized,
Yes.
they are now ready to carry a pregnancy.
Okay.
Therefore, we need to be careful that we encourage our youth or the teenagers to physically get prepared. Matters to do with maturity of the whole body,
Yes.
as opposed to just getting the ova ready for fertilization.
Okay.
Therefore, I would say that perhaps from age 20, 22 and above, it is good to, it is a mature body that can handle pregnancy.
Okay.
However, having said that, I also to caution those who are conceiving for the first time, that again, delaying pregnancy so much that you are an elderly, we call them elderly primigravida. A person who is conceiving for the first time is called a primigravida. Now, again, suspending pregnancy for too long and coming to conceive at a later age, perhaps 35, it is a little bit too late, because now the body has already started losing some of its abilities and some of its vibrance, and therefore it is good that again you don't delay that pregnancy too much. Now, talking about a subsequent pregnancy, maybe you had a previous pregnancy and now you want to conceive for the second time. I would say that we need to be reminded that immediately 6 weeks after one has delivered, again the body resumes its normal cycles and one can conceive. So it is also not so good for one to conceive 6 weeks after a delivery. So you need again to delay so that the whole body recovers from the stresses that it underwent while carrying the previous pregnancy. And maybe let me say that I could say that if you delay the second pregnancy or subsequent pregnancy for about 18 months, then you are fully recovered. The one you gave birth to has now grown a little bit, and they can handle maybe certain different kinds of food as opposed to exclusive breastfeeding, and therefore you can now consider another pregnancy.
Okay. Mr. Kimemia told us there are 2 and counting. Would you like give us the age of your last born?
Yeah, my last born is 6 years old,
Okay.
and as per now,
Okay.
I'm very sure that he is capable of feeding himself,
Okay.
going to school,
Okay.
and he can perform
Okay.
so many things for himself.
Okay.
So he is comfortable,
Okay.
even in the house, doing 1, 2, 3 in the house.
Okay.
He's dependent to himself.
Okay.
So there is no stress if the third born comes.
So, Daktari is referring to now the age of the child. So, in terms of the age or the duration that they have stayed before conceiving, so is it now that way it's okay for them to go ahead?
I would say that at 6 months, at 6 years,
Yeah.
that is an appropriate age.
Okay.
And just as I had said earlier, that 18 months gap in between one child and another is reasonable enough.
Okay.
So at 6 years,
Okay.
I tend to believe that that is okay. But however, let me caution my friend that again, let it not be that you are also aging and you want your wife to conceive at 45 and maybe she's getting to menopause. You have delayed this pregnancy so much that she's aging, she's also aging, and you want her to conceive when so please again remember it is good to give birth when you are still vibrant and every other organ is still very vital.
Okay, very important. That marks the end of our second part. So make sure that you catch us up in our third part. See you after a moment. Welcome back, our viewers, to our third and last part of this show, the health booth. And on this particular part, I'd like us to discuss about some of the underlying conditions that are important to consider in terms of the people that are preparing for pregnancy. And I'd like our doctor to take us through some of those conditions that are of concern to all these people that are preparing for pregnancy.
Okay. Viewers, for one to have a healthy pregnancy, themselves need to be healthy. And that is why it is good for us to talk about some of the underlying medical conditions that can have an impact onto one's pregnancy. This may be specifically affecting the women, unfortunately, as much as there are some that could be affecting both men and women. For example, talking about sexually transmitted diseases. If one's husband has syphilis and they transmit syphilis to a woman who is preparing to get pregnant, then it is possible that if this syphilis is not treated before the pregnancy, it will affect the pregnancy. Therefore, both men and women are affected in that manner. Syphilis is a sexually transmitted disease that can devastate a pregnancy and cause a child to be born with so many defects, including those that affect the nervous system, the brain, and such. Like a child, it is hard for them to survive because, again, treating a newborn who has syphilis is another condition, another issue altogether. Talk about HIV as another condition that one needs to take care of before conceiving. HIV is a condition in which if the viral load is too high and one is not on medication, it is possible that it will have a very great impact on their pregnancy. And therefore, one who is continuously attending clinic will be advised, their viral load will be taken, it will be measured, and now they'll be told when to practice sex for conception. These other times they are told to do it with a condom just to protect each other. But now that they want to get a baby, of course they can't get with a condom, and therefore they need to be working on their viral load, both of the man and the woman, that it comes so suppressed and allow them to now conceive and expect to deliver a baby who is HIV negative. there's another condition that now specifically may be affecting the woman and needs to be taken care of before they can conceive. Talk of a disease like diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus is a disease that affects the blood sugars of an individual. And if a mother has diabetes, it is possible that if it is not controlled before conception and it goes into pregnancy without proper control, they are going to be affected in a way that even the child that they are carrying will be affected by these high levels of sugars, and it results in a condition that we call fetal macrosmia, whereby the child overgrows because there is a lot of sugar. The child gains a lot of weight, and it can be even a difficult delivery. And such like a child, again, it is hard to manage them at delivery. Talk of heart conditions. Heart conditions also affect the pregnancy a lot. And if one has a cardiac problem, they need to be on medication, they need to be monitored just before conception, because during pregnancy, the fluid volume of the body increases. And you can imagine a heart that is already strained having to cope with an increased volume of fluid in the body, because it is the heart that pumps the circulating fluids in the body. So if there's an increased volume and one's heart is defective, then again this such like a mother or a mother-to-be will be affected, and therefore they need to be closely monitored and their heart condition managed. And to some extent, after they conceive, some are even forced to stay in hospital for a better part of their pregnancy, just to continuously be monitored before they can now carry the pregnancy to term. Asthma is also another condition that affects people, and a mother who is asthmatic again needs to be continuously monitored during pregnancy, and therefore they need to have known their condition before conception. They need to have known that they are asthmatic. They need to be on medication for asthma, so that when they go into pregnancy, they continue with the medication, and again, so that when it comes maybe to delivery, the strains of labor will not overwhelm them. So those are some of the few conditions that affect people and need to be taken care of before conception.
Okay, that's good. That's good. This show cannot end well if we don't tackle the issue of this conservative notion that so many, especially the African people, have about a pregnancy only being left to the women. And I'd like our parent guest, Mr. Kimemia, to tell us what are some of the roles that you think men should play as a form of help to their spouses during pregnancy.
Okay, thanks, John. I know there is somewhere that you are heading to. And now I'll answer that.
Okay.
I will elaborate that. As a man, you have the greatest role to make sure that your wife is pregnant. That is the key principle and the key point. You are the determining factor. Secondly, as a man, you must be very responsible during the period where the wife is pregnant. In the first place, you must support her financially. Secondly, you must go together, visit a clinic or a hospital together, go for all the checkups. This is where most men avoid this area, where they don't escort or take their wives or visit a hospital or a clinic together with their pregnant wives. So I encourage men, let us go together or walk together or visit a clinic together with our wives for checkups. Secondly, let us encourage our wives. Let there be no violence in our homes during this period. And lastly, if you know that you take alcohol, you smoke cigarettes, let's avoid this substance. in our homes for a healthy pregnancy,
Okay.
so that your wife, during the period, she will be very comfortable. Then let her feed well. Let her take healthy meals all through, so that she can be healthy and have a healthy pregnancy.
Okay.
Thank
Very important. So it takes two to have a healthy pregnancy.
Of course.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So our parent guest, Margaret, what can you add towards what Mimi is saying, and what would be your advice to your fellow ladies or women who are pregnant or getting pregnant and mothers at the same time?
Thank you very much, John. And as my fellow parent has stated, it takes you two to get pregnant. So if you are a lady and you're preparing for pregnancy, know that your husband is also needed. So it is not a matter of just you getting ready, it is a matter of the two of you getting ready. As Daktari has also stated, the two of you need to be healthy. So if you're talking about getting pregnant and you want to visit a clinic, maybe to know your status, maybe you have some underlying conditions and all that stuff, take your husband with you. Go have some of these checkups. Make sure that whatever tests that are being carried on you can also be, that the ones that can be carried on your husband have also been carried out. Why I'm saying this is because sometimes we tend to ignore the fact that our husbands also need to be healthy. But essentially, if he's not healthy, you will not also even have that peace of mind. Because if your husband is sick, and even if you're healthy, and you wanted to have that smooth journey during the pregnancy, you cannot have it, because essentially you're having some other stress of someone else who is sick with you wherever you are. The other thing I would talk about is for a lady who is preparing to get pregnant, make sure that, one, you're very comfortable, your state of mind, like get ready for it, and make sure that you do everything within your capacity to make sure that your state of mind is right. And also for the ladies who drink, there's some ladies who also drink, there's some ladies who smoke. This can lead to some of these conditions that may even give you an abnormal baby. Just stop. Make sure that you have a clear system, like you have a clear body system whereby you don't have all these substances in your blood. And then make sure you boost your hemoglobin levels. Daktari said that when there is an increase in the volume of fluids in your body when you are pregnant, or when you are preparing to get pregnant. The hemoglobin levels will help you such that even when the fetus comes, you can be able to sustain this pregnancy without all this fainting and feeling dizzy and all that stuff. So make sure you boost your hemoglobin levels, and it doesn't have to be expensive. You know, people have this notion of like there are some things that you need to do or maybe buy and all that stuff. Go for the locally available stuff that can make you have all this, make you healthy. Take that managu, terere, spinach, whatever that is available, such that you're sure that your hemoglobin levels are up to standard, such that you will have a very smooth journey during your pregnancy. And also, for the violent ladies, avoid the violence. Yeah. Because essentially, if you hit, and you will be saying that so-and-so hit me, but maybe you started it. So just tame it, lie low for that period, and then it will all be fine. Thank you, John.
Wow, wonderful. Daktari, do you have any closing remarks?
Definitely, John. First, let me retort to what Margaret has said. You can't get pregnant when there is violence. I don't know, but some people say that it is that it sets mood when there is some disagreement. It sets mood for I don't know, but I would say their parents have properly said that we need to have a peace and a peaceful environment, a loving environment while preparing for this. Another thing that she has also talked of that is of importance is the anemia issue, the iron issue. Okay. Iron issue, as I was talking about nutrition, I talked of folic acid, this goes, it can be gotten from cereals, and also she has talked of the nutritious vegetables, leafy vegetables,
Yes.
but also supplement iron, and this is important. Just as you prepare for pregnancy, you need to consider this. Overall, I need to say that pregnancy doesn't have to come by surprise. Plan these things. Talk as a husband and wife. We want to get a baby. At what point do you want to get the baby? Are there any other things that we shall be strained off in case we got pregnant? For example, maybe the woman is in school, pursuing a certain course, and you, the husband, is insisting that we have to get a baby right now. You are going to strain her. So it is a thing of you talking together, agreeing, and now concluding that we need to have our baby at this point. Another thing that is troubling many families is about the choice of the baby that you want, the sex of the baby that you want to have. I want to say that I'm a Christian, and I believe that the sex of the baby is determined by God. I believe so. There are many things that people, strains that people undergo. They go to very many lengths to want to determine the kind of baby, the sex of the baby they want to have. I would say that besides those things, trust in God in the kind of baby that you will have, and talk just before you get pregnant that whichever sex of the baby that we shall get, we shall accept as our baby given to us by God. Some women, Kinene talked of some men not taking pregnancy as their concern. Okay, it is true, and some go to an extent of not wanting to know even their HIV status until the woman goes to the clinic, and when she comes back, they are asking, what were your HIV results, and you take her results as yours. That is not automatically the case. If she is negative, it doesn't mean you are negative. She could be negative as you are positive. Ever heard of discordancy? That is how it is explained. That one couple, despite having unprotected sex, one member of the party is negative and the other one is positive. It is good for both of you to know your statuses so that you can protect each other and work through a healthy pregnancy. So John, pregnancy is about planning, not coming just by surprise. You find your wife's tummy is protruding and you are you're wondering, you are surprised that she's pregnant again
and again. Okay, thank you so much, Daktari. So this show cannot end without me taking this opportunity to thank you sincerely for taking your time to be together with us. So thank you so much, Margaret. Thank you so much, Bwana Kimemia, and also Daktari. Thank you so much for taking your time and being part of this show. Remember, this has been a show, the very first show, the Health Booth, and where we say your health matters to us. This show doesn't end here. The conversation doesn't end here. We are on social media handles at Heavenbound TV, the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also YouTube. You can continue engaging us with your questions and all matter of inquiries for us to get them, and we will be responding to them in our subsequent shows. So get to our social media, get also to our TV, and keep it Heavenbound Television. Also on our TV, there is SMSs where you a line, and where the same line you can call, you can WhatsApp, and you can also send your text. So that marks the end of our show tonight. I believe you have been helped, and I believe you continue engaging in this show, and I know God will bless you so much. As the Bible says that our bodies are the temples of Holy Spirit, so it takes a healthy body for us to create a habitable environment for the Spirit of God to dwell in. So God bless you so much. Until next time, bye-bye.